We're doing it. It's time for some Cryptid Roulette, baby. Ooh. Yeah, it's excited. What up, Arianthe? You still with me? Where did Justin go? Let's go down here to this this chat box. Hey, what up, Elson?
I'm here.
What up, Arianthe?
Hey!
Sorry, that break took a minute. Change everything over.
No, you're fine.
Find a sick-ass thumbnail.
I had to bully my dogs to coming back inside because it's nice and hot. That took a minute, and then I got a phone call.
Oh, word. Okay. It happens.
It does.
So before I'm sure you've decided what cryptid, but okay, cool. Meme board up. Making sure I got the meme board up to show you the mood I am in. Don't know if you can see. Typed in sexy cryptid for the thumb.
Oh, you want sexy cryptid?
Well, it doesn't have to be a sexy cryptid, but it could be any cryptid. That's the point of Cryptid Roulette. So any of them.
I mean, the sexiness of them is really... I feel like that's subjective. So maybe they are sexy.
I mean, I don't know if you see the screen share. Some are definitely sexy, depending on what artist has the pin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This one right here is great. These are pins on Etsy. These are sexy cryptid pins. I might have to get a hold of that. Guys, find me the sexy cryptid pins. Look at this leggy alien over here too. Guys, if you're not in the Discord,
Is that a leggy Mothman?
yeah,
I'm into it.
yeah, leggy Mothman. Is that a leggy Baphomet? There's a blurry leggy Sasquatch.
I like it.
There's a thick Biggie. I need that thick Biggie one.
I like
Succubus. Okay. Word.
it. Succubus is... Yeah.
Oh,
Let's do that one.
word. Well, we don't. I don't mean. Well, we'll do whatever, whichever one.
Oh, I'm into anything. So, do we wanna do something a little more northern? So maybe we can pretend like we're not dying in the heat.
Yeah.
Let's go Wendigo.
The Wendigo.
Something everybody knows about, but not everybody knows about. You know,
I don't know much about the Wendigo.
but you've heard the name.
I'm gonna read just the broad Wikipedia real fast
Sure.
while we find a format for Cryptid Roulette. And we'll find some source material and we'll watch party together and react.
Yes.
Again, my first question about the Wendigo, Arianthe, before I read this Wikipedia is it sexy? Does its cheeks clap?
I mean, I guess it just depends on who it is. Wendigo are created.
Hmm.
So.
Okay.
Yes.
You gotta make one.
Yeah.
Okay. Like with a spell or something, huh?
No. Wendigo are created whenever people die after cannibalism.
Oh my. Okay, so you gotta eat another human.
Yes.
Okay.
This is cannibalistic indigenous folklore.
Gnarly. Okay.
Yeah.
Wikipedia says the Wendigo is a mythological creature or evil spirit which originates from the folklore of Plains and Great Lakes natives, as well as some First Nations. It is based in and around the East Coast forests of Canada, the Great Plains region of the United States, and the Great Lakes region of the United States and Canada, grouped in modern ethnology as speakers of Algonquian family languages. Wow.
I gotcha.
Yeah. The Wendigo is often said to be the malevolent spirit, or to be a malevolent spirit, sometimes depicted as a creature with human-like characteristics, which possesses human beings. Ew. The Wendigo is said to invoke feelings of insatiable greed and hunger, the desire to cannibalize other humans, as well as the propensity to commit murder in those that fall under its influence. It can make you murderous?
Yes.
At odds
That's
with
why I
its...
like the Wendigo.
This is crazy. At odds with its portrayals in its portrayals... Gum in my mouth. It's a bad move. Its portrayals in 20th century and 21st century settler culture and some indigenous representations, the Wendigo is described as a giant humanoid with a heart of ice. A foul stench or sudden unreasonable chill might precede its approach, possibly due to long-time identification by Europeans with their own superstitions about werewolves. For example, as mentioned in the Jesuit relations below, Hollywood film representations often label human/beast hybrids featuring antlers or horns with the Wendigo. But such animal features do not appear in the original indigenous stories. So they've added some flair over time.
There's been some Hollywood flair added too.
Okay.
But I don't know if anybody's ever played the game Until Dawn. The creatures that are in Until Dawn are depicted as Wendigo.
Got you. I saw a little bit of the gameplay of that. I watched a streamer play through some of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Good.
Yes.
Okay, so it's just part of the traditional belief system of a lot of Algonquin speaking. Am I saying that right? Algonquin?
I think that's pretty close.
C? Is it not Quinn? Is it Kin?
I think it's Quinn, yeah.
Algonquin.
Algonquin?
Algonquin.
Algonquin. Gotcha.
To my understanding. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's at least close to right.
I think Justin's right.
Gotcha. Algonquin.
So, Mythology and Fiction Explained has a pretty good 9-minute video on it. We don't have to watch the whole 9 minutes, but he is fun to listen to because he's very calming.
We should check it out. Let's do that. Let's see. Mythology Explained. Let's just, Wendigo! I was gonna see.
I can't tell if the on-screen chat is in Facebook or Twitch.
Twitch. Yeah, there is a succubus, and there are succubi in Neverwinter. Succubuses? Succubi? I know everybody used to say octopi when I was a kid, but it is in fact octopuses.
I hate that.
Well, yeah.
It's also not mises, it's mooses.
It's mooses.
I hate that too.
So this is, you said Mythology and Fiction Explained?
Yes.
Gotcha. Let's check this out.
Today we have a very special treat for everybody watching, because not only do we have an exciting announcement, but we also finally cover a topic that I'm sure many people have been waiting to see. We travel to the parts of North America that the Algonquin people called their home, in order to discuss a truly terrifying legend. An evil spirit that prowls the northern forests of the Atlantic coast. A monster that can be found up and down the Great Lakes region of the United States and Canada. The creature that I'm referring to is part of the most famous set of stories to originate from Algonquin folklore. These stories indeed refer to the Wendigo. Some believe that it was a large monster, and others saw it as a spirit capable of possession. The manner in which the Wendigo manifests itself depends entirely on the beliefs of the individual, and the Algonquin can be broken down into several groups of indigenous people. If we put aside the Wendigo's appearance briefly, there was a general agreement as to what the Wendigo was and what it represented. It is almost always associated with cannibalism, famine, and greed that came with the long cold winters, which is why so many saw it as a malevolent supernatural entity.
Okay.
So what does the Wendigo actually look like? There are two very distinct archetypes that I'm sure many...
Does it have a sexy form, though? Need it.
Depends on who it's possessing, I suppose.
Ooh, that's right. Possession. There we go.
You would recognize. A large-looking demonic beast, normally with the head or skull of a stag, complete with some kind of antlers or horns. This type of Wendigo is one that has become quite popular today, and it's an image that I'm sure many of you recognize from a lot of popular media. But this particular image seems to be a more modern interpretation. I remember seeing this imagery when first watching the TV show Hannibal. which of course has its own underlying themes of murder and cannibalism. At the time I didn't really understand the Wendigo symbolism because I didn't really know much about the Wendigo and its own association with cannibalism and acts of evil. So why does this version of the Wendigo have antlers and fur reminiscent of a stag? Sadly, I couldn't really find a conclusive answer. There isn't much mention of the Wendigo's appearance in traditional Algonquin folklore, and what we do see certainly doesn't describe a stag, so there could be some confusion between the concept of the Navajo skinwalker, or this very well could be a modern stylistic interpretation. Either way, the stag is an animal that appears in folklore all around the world, though it's normally associated with woodland deities and fertility. It's also an animal that the Native Americans highly respected. So if we do go with the...
It always goes back to fertility, isn't that a thing with the deer woman too?
Yeah.
Damn. Why do ghosts have something to do with fertility? Or, well, I guess this isn't a ghost. I don't know. This is a vengeful cannibalism deity.
Yeah. Notice the
Post-cannibalism
trend in Native American folklore at all is like, don't fuck around because you will find out.
Yeah, that is basically, yeah. It's out there and it'll eat you. It's also the reason you have children. Like, what? Yeah, so do right. So do right.
The concept that the Wendigo was seen as a symbol of corruption, the fact that it then manifests as an animal that the natives held in such high regard, makes it seem as if nothing is safe from the Wendigo's curse, which does highlight the seriousness of the warnings and meanings interwoven into these stories.
Weird.
The more traditional appearance of the Wendigo is
Interesting,
closer
not
to a
weird.
haggard and decomposing corpse. Its skin is stretched extremely tightly over its bones, creating a thin translucent layer of desiccated flesh, from which its bones look ready to burst. Its complexion varies from a sickly white to an ashy grey. It has long spindly fingers with sharp nails that it uses to tear its victims into pieces. The easiest way to describe this type of Wendigo
What
is
up,
as
new
a
cats
gaunt
on Twitch?
skeleton that looks like it has risen from the grave. Wherever the Wendigo goes, it is followed by the odour of death and decay. It is a vile creature with jagged misshapen teeth that at times resemble yellow fangs. In this form, the Wendigo may be a creature that resembles a humanoid, but I assure you they are nothing short of anyone's worst nightmare. There's an interesting description that comes from Innu lore that believed Wendigos were giant creatures made of ice that would dwarf over human beings, and this was because every time a Wendigo ate a person, they would grow in proportion to the meal, so the bigger the meal, the bigger they grew. And this was one of the ways they used to describe the Wendigo's insatiable hunger, because it created this vicious cycle, where the more the Wendigo consumed, the bigger and stronger.
Lux is old! What up? Oh! Lux is back!
I'm irate.
Hey.
Oh,
Irate.
irate, what's up?
Yes.
What happened?
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a
Why?
heartbreak. Tell me why.
My assistant decides to wait till I'm almost on my way out. I'm about to publish a show, and she said, "Hey, by the way, per the contract, this, and this." Trying to derail the whole day. This for this show,
Yeah.
just because she read one thing.
Yeah.
After I was already done with it, and I even asked, the people that matter.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, we don't give a fuck." Like, of course not. Let me do it my way.
She pulled a.
Okay, how is it that I've only seen you 2 days in the last 3 weeks?
She pulled a busy
And you come in
girlfriend.
and you're like, "Hey, by the way, I know more than you."
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Sorry, I didn't need to vent for a minute because that just happened.
Oh, damn.
I'm irate because now I have more work to do
Damn.
before I can do.
Well, now we
anything
have to
else
kill
I had
him.
planned today.
Supposed to be your assistant.
Wouldn't you think?
Supposed to be making life easier.
I know.
I wish I had it.
I know, I wish I did too. Damn. Ain't that some old biscuits, lady? We are learning about we are learning about the Wendigo. If you'd like to hop in Discord and learn about the Wendigo with us.
What? Do you see what's happening back here?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, your cat's pretty extra. She's pretty extra. Lux is brave for adopting.
He's so good.
Oh yeah, did you
cat.
just notice me? Hello.
So gravity
I love her.
disabled.
I love her so much.
Oh. Lord. Okay, so things we know about the Wendigo. It can be sexy.
I can, yeah.
So good pick.
Yep, you're welcome.
highly regarded in Native American religious everything. It seems to be one of the many patron deities, right?
Depends on your tribe. Yes,
Gotcha.
sort of.
Held in high regard amongst the Algonquin-speaking tribes.
Yes.
Yes.
Important, but I don't know if deity would be the right word.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
deity.
Yeah,
Important.
more entity.
Oh, gotcha. Important consequence of cannibalism.
See,
Okay.
yeah, maybe.
Okay, so I have played Until Dawn before.
There you go.
Exactly.
It's an amazing game. I like it a lot. It's kind of one of those horror quick time type games.
Yeah.
But the story does have a lot to do with Wendigo, and I think that's interesting. Like,
Yes.
they did kind of keep it realistic because the kids, like, when they turn, it's because they ate someone.
Jeez.
Or were turned. Yeah, like
Jeez.
they were either like
Yes.
or they wound up eating flesh.
Oh
like,
my
the curse
God.
of
That's
the mountain turned
exactly
into
right.
Wendigos.
Because they ended up eating people.
Yeah. Yep.
Man. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna push for. I'm gonna give you a second. Are you hopping in this Discord? You think?
I have my
Okay.
headphones on.
Lux is gonna join us in the Discord. Wendigo Discord watch party, guys. What do you do if you unintentionally eat some human flesh and find yourself pursued by a Wendigo?
Does one unintentionally eat human flesh?
Okay. What, man, I'm imagining a horror movie where as you get your wife pregnant,
Oh.
like the night of conception, you accidentally ate some human meat, went home extra fertile, because there's also a fertility level to this situation.
Oh, okay.
That's intense. I feel like intention is there. Like if you're not intentionally like eating a human,
Gotcha.
maybe there's some forgiveness there. And there's a lot of greed and malice that comes in the person who eventually is pursued by the Wendigo.
Gotcha.
So,
So,
I mean, if it's
you
that
eat somebody
malicious.
to raise your position in life, like you eat your enemy.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
Yeah. You ate your business rival. The Wendigo's coming
Right.
after you.
Yeah.
You want that promotion, you know Stephanie's gonna get it. You eat Stephanie.
You eat Stephanie.
You straight eat Stephanie, and then the Wendigo's
Yeah.
after you. Spooky. Spooky. You in this business?
I'm working on it. It's taking forever.
Oh, I didn't even like that. Sorry. My tone sounded crazy.
Do it.
But it's because I'm triggered by the Wendigo. What kind of things can it, I guess we'll find out here in a second. What kind of things can it do to you? Again, I imagine it said all the traditional haunting things. It gets
I'm
cold.
here.
Okay, we're rolling.
Yes.
We're rolling on this.
Longer they grew, but it would have to consume more and more to satisfy its ever-growing hunger.
Gotcha. So it makes you very, very hungry. So you might eat a human, right? Okay, so wait, does it happen before cannibalism and maybe prompts you into it if you're a shitheel greedy person?
I think it depends on the way it is told, and it's different between tribes. From my understanding of the Wendigo, greed, malice, and eating said other person is what prompts it to then pursue you.
Gotcha.
But that may be different from tribe to tribe, you know?
Yeah. See, I was wondering if it was punishment or an instigator. You know, something that like awakens within you your ability to eat Stephanie.
Yeah.
Just hold.
This definitely gives us an interesting contrast. You have these enormous gluttonous creatures, and then you have these thin, gaunt husks that are wasting away, but both still suffer from starvation, and that is what we consider the curse of the Wendigo. Its hunger can never be sated, its quest for new victims is eternal. Wendigos are always regarded as evil, and this is in no doubt because of their cannibalistic nature, but how does one become such an evil entity? There is the belief that humans could turn into Wendigos if they were overcome by greed. These stories were told as a way to encourage moderation and essentially scare individuals into behaving a certain way. Those who committed unspeakable acts of cannibalism were also thought to become Wendigos, and this belief is where many attribute the start of the Wendigo legend. There were, however, extremely dark times where famine was so bad that people had no choice but to resort to cannibalism just in order to survive and make it through the long cold winter. It's not really common today, but in times of extreme famine, some of the Native American people would perform a ceremonial dance that involved wearing a mask and dancing backwards behind a drum. This ceremony was mostly considered to be a satirical way to reinforce the seriousness of the Wendigo taboo. Many saw the Wendigo as a metaphor that represented imbalance and disharmony, not only in an individual, but in society as a whole. This idea of selfishness does also tie in with the fact that Wendigos were seen as solitary creatures, often being referred to as spirits of the lonely places. So what makes the Wendigo so special, and why are we so scared of them? The possession of a Wendigo isn't like your generic spirit or demon. It chooses its victim very carefully, and slowly eats away at their sanity. It enters their thoughts and plagues their mind with countless nightmares.
Ooh. Whoa. That's pretty hardcore. Yeah, that's pretty hardcore.
Unable to sleep, they start experiencing a burning sensation throughout their entire body. This has been described as Wendigo fever, and there have been countless tales of people running stark naked through forests at the dead of night, claiming that they have Wendigo fever.
Whoa. That escalated
That just-
quickly.
It sounds like bourbon.
Wow. Yeah, wow. Okay. You don't want Wendigo fever. Damn.
No.
Now, as a supernatural entity, you'd expect some kind of supernatural ability.
Wendigo hits you like
and
some
most of these
PCP.
are exactly what you would imagine. The Wendigo is extremely fast and has unnatural strength despite how frail some of them may look. As expert hunters, they have heightened endurance and senses, making it so they can hunt in all manner of terrain and temperature. The older the Wendigo gets, the stronger it becomes. As its corruption spreads through the forests, so does its influence on nature. Some are capable of controlling woodland creatures, and others are so powerful they can control the weather, with the eldest able to summon a darkness capable of concealing the sun, making it so no one is safe regardless of time or location.
That's horrifying. Oh, so it also has all-encroaching darkness powers?
Despite what we perceive to be just stories, there have been numerous cases over the years of people committing horrid crimes.
It's like if Slender Man breathed, like, exhaled PCP and was hella horny. You know, like, damn. Damn.
Claiming that they were possessed by a Wendigo. In 1878, a Native American man named Swift Runner butchered and ate his entire family.
Sick name.
That is sick.
Sick name. It would suck to have one leg and that name, but other than your amputee cousin, it's cool for you. That's sick.
That winter was said to have been particularly harsh, and Swift Runner's son had sadly died because of the extreme conditions. Now, we don't know if Swift Runner and his family ate the boy to survive, but the mutilated remains of his wife and 5 other children were later found.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So guy got involved in some cannibalism. We don't know how he got there, but he got there. Wendigo happened.
He eventually confessed to killing and eating his entire family, but he was adamant that his actions were due to a Wendigo possession.
What?
So did devouring his son turn him into a Wendigo? Did he butcher his family because he felt they wouldn't survive the winter? Or did he value the self-preservation of his own life over his family's?
So it's an instigator. It creeps into your mind and takes what's there and what's dark and then makes you eat your family. Let me eat your grandma's face. It makes you go full bath salts. Holy shit.
This is Florida Man.
Hey.
Holy shit. This is
Full
what's-
on Florida man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Florida just collectively needs to walk outside. Everyone, if you're watching this and you're in Florida, grab a bundle of sage, walk outside, light that shit. Just smudge the whole state. Do whatever you gotta do. Dance backwards around a drum. Get rid of the Wendigo. You got Wendigo problems in that state. This is Florida behavior.
The answer to those questions we'll most likely never know.
God.
Another rather famous case is that of Jack Fiddler and his brother Joseph, who
They all migrated to Florida because they're so cold.
Yes. Oh, dude. The name Jack Fiddler. We got Swift Runner and a Fiddler.
On the roof.
Oh, we're a tough dude and a magical lady away from a whole ass D&D campaign. And These are the dopest last names.
Who were arrested for the murder of over a dozen people.
Dope last names.
As the chief of his people, Jack was thought to be capable of removing evil, which is why he got away with killing so many, claiming that they were all possessed by a Wendigo.
What?
Jack managed to escape captivity during a routine walk outside, and he eventually...
Jack Fiddler, Wendigo hunter. He's just killing people whenever he's upset. Saying it's Wendigos.
He hung himself before the trial came to a conclusion.
Oh, wow.
His brother Joseph, however, wasn't so lucky. He was sentenced to death by Magistrate Ellsworth Perry. Despite the numerous appeals of his innocence, Joseph, ironically enough, was eventually given a pardon, but it came 3 days after his death in 1909. These type of cases led people to believe that it might be a more serious mental issue, one that would later be dubbed Wendigo psychosis, the deep craving for flesh. But whether it was a real mental disorder is something that was heavily debated, as the number of reported cases decreased dramatically in the 20th century, when the Algonquin people adapted European ideologies and began to live less rural lifestyles. There's no doubt that the Wendigo myth has changed and evolved over the years. It's now become another monster that reflects our own issues as humans: greed, selfishness, and in some extreme or metaphoric cases, cannibalism.
Yeah.
It's unlikely that many of the Native American tribes still believe in the legends of the Wendigo as adamantly as they once did. To them, the Wendigo was an evil spirit.
This artwork's wild. There's some great deviant art right here. They really make this thing look like massive and like you're hallucinating it, and it's in your mind, and you're now the Wendigo. That's just
that embodies everything they hated. It can be
like it's such a creepy concept. You know,
I enjoy it.
It's just something you have to ward off. Like it's not necessarily something you do to turn yourself on like a light and then it's a moth. No, it's just you just got to be careful. Wendigo might get you. Fuck around, find out. It's literally like
I'm telling you
what it is.
That's Native American folklore for you.
It's like there's shit in the woods that will eat you, or I will eat you. Like, holy shit.
Interpreted as a symbol of corruption, from what they perceive to be outsiders, changing their landscape and the beliefs of their people. Stories of the Wendigo were used as a way to encourage a balanced lifestyle and respect for one's peers and the world surrounding them.
Gotcha.
A creature with insatiable hunger, a spirit capable of possession, or a story meant to encourage cooperation and warn against the dangers of greed. You decide. Before we do end today's video, I'd like to tell you about our new series of short stories.
I think we're good on the
Yeah, I think I'm good.
short stories. However, I am gonna need some more Wendigo stories. You know what I mean?
I do love the Wendigo.
Let's see, what do we got here? 14 underloved, terrifying Wendigo in movies and TV series. Let's check this out. Let's check out the different fictional depictions of Wendigo. Because
Some of them are really funny.
I bet you they are.
14 best terrifying Wendigo horror movies of all time.
Thank you for letting me know about that, my friend
I like this one.
at Marvelous Movies. I like this guy.
Explored. According to Algonquin mythology, the Wendigo is a malevolent and cannibalistic spirit that may possess humans. This man-eating mythological beast is believed to appear in winters. In movies, Wendigos all have a common trait and are mostly giant humanoid entities with a monstrous appearance. They have sunken eyes which glow and a gaunt body with mostly a missing toe or finger. They give off a foul odor and scream while plunging on their prey.
This is a completely different definition than what we got in the actual juice a moment
This was
ago.
made up.
Yeah, like, hold up, wait. Are you just saying what some 80s horror movies define as a Wendigo?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
These grotesque creatures have been well exploited in the horror genre of movies and stories. Directors, along with their special effects team, have used their creativity in bringing out the different terrifying designs for Wendigos, which are enjoyable to watch in theaters and at home. If you are a fan of Stephen King novels or the adaptations of the novels, these ghoulish beasts are not new to you. The same holds for fans of the TV series Supernatural, and in today's video, we will be exploring 14 best terrifying Wendigo horror movies of all time.
This is the best terrifying horror movie. This is going to be this is the top 14. I'm sorry, I'm hitting with the soundboard applause. Everybody get excited. It's time. Starting at number.
I love Native American folklore, and this is why. Because Hollywood gets a hold of it and just runs. Just runs.
Yeah, Hollywood does what Hollywood does. And they're going to attach a computer to it or an alien, and they're going to make it super great. They're going to go deep blue with it if they can.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, sharks.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but
hey, that also goes with this channel. Please be sure to comment and hit that thumbs up button. And maybe subscribe. Hit that notification bell. All super chats go to a merch lottery that happens at the end of the month if I get paid out from the super chats. So, yeah.
For us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
That's a lizard.
Number 1. Dark Was the Night, 2014.
Well, has anybody even seen Dark Was the Night? What the hell is that?
No, nobody's seen that.
Nobody's seen Dark As the Night.
Some straight to DVD stuff right there.
Hello, Barney.
Hey, what up, Barney? Good morning, Britt. We're talking about the Wendigo.
Crew of loggers go missing in a forest near the isolated settlement of Maiden Woods. Unable to reach them, the foreman goes in search of them, only to
Steve Agee. Am I wrong? Is that Steve Agee?
I think it is, yeah. If not, he's got
Oh wait, the voice or the person on the screen?
No, the person on the screen.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be. Yeah.
find a logger's severed arm. He is then brutally murdered in his truck by an unknown entity. Later in town, Sheriff Paul Shields and his new New York deputy, Donnie Saunders, talk with Farmer Ron,
Elson says no. Wait, to that being Steve Agee, Scott.
who swears that one of his precious horses have been stolen. Yet without evidence of theft, it is presumed the horse just fled through an open gate.
Jumped over? Been raising horses on this land for 35 years. Never seen one jump loose without taking a section of
35 years.
Paul then departs to pick up his son Adam from his wife Susan, who no longer lives with him following the unfortunate death of
Just like, what is it, the Babadook? No.
Babadook?
The Babadook? No. I'm thinking of the one with, the one about the Jewish possession. With Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I don't think I ever thought
It's always got a divorced dad lead. Like, it's always a divorced dad lead. Like, quit trying to spook us.
Is it called The Possession?
I don't remember, probably.
That's what I'm thinking. Was it The Possession?
It's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I know that.
Yeah, that's The Possession.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got to go get a rabbi. Like Modest Yahoo's in it.
The Possession.
Yeah.
their other son
Never thought
Tim.
I'd Google
That
Jewish
night,
possession movie.
There's like one, and it's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It's a good movie. It's spoopy. It's just one of those possession movies. So.
That was my nickname in high school, Elson.
Cat, could we
The Mama Dude.
maybe do that right here?
That's a joke.
I was wondering why it was looking so like backlit. Because this cat was right in this. The Mamadook. Nah, I like the Babadook better.
That's me.
So yeah, I didn't even know
Adam
Steve
sees
Agee was
the
in a
thing
Wendigo
in the
movie.
backyard, and when Paul investigates, he
My
hears
kids
but
call
does
me
not
whenever
see
they're
the
scared.
gigantic creature in the trees. Following
When I
morning,
yell.
Paul discovers enormous tracks in the snow surrounding his house that look to be from a two-legged animal with hooves. Donnie informs him that the footprints are throughout town.
That's a horse just.
Why does it have hooves?
It's a Clydesdale just ripping wheelies. Just 2-footing it, just in the mud like fuck yo lawn, and then hitting the road like wheelie.
Surrounding
Why does it
everyone's
have
residences.
Why does
Following
Hollywood
the
do
foot-
this?
I don't know. It's a Native
Why do they
American monster, so it's gotta have.
Right.
It's gotta have.
But why
hooves.
do they take like really cool Native American folklore and they just fuck it up?
They just jam
They just
American
hear it
creatures
and they're
together.
like, Yeah, they hear it and they're like, it'd make that even scarier. Hooves. Why?
Cuz.
Like, why is it not scary enough? Oh yeah, because Satan. You right though.
That's right, Satan,
But why does Satan have hooves?
Because
Pan.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, because Pan. Because
it gets so frustrating. I'm like, they're already terrifying, and if you grow up in an indigenous household, you know that your parents used to tell you these stories, scare the shit out of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you don't need to add hooves and like wings or dragon parts. There was one shot that made it look like a Gorn from Star Trek. Like, what the hell is that? I'm pretty sure that's not what we watched described in the last video or on the Wikipedia.
Footsteps into
Hollywood.
the woods, Paul and Donnie see enormous claw marks
C-list Hollywood
on the trees where the footprints vanish.
Really think there's a monster in the woods, Donnie? No. Okay.
Also known as Monster
that guy's
Hunter
a
in the UK,
decent
Dark
actor.
Was the Night is an American thriller film directed and produced.
Oh, this is Monster Hunter in the UK? That's unfortunate for the big budget Monster Hunter movie.
Yeah.
What the hell's that one called? And does it vibe like a sequel to this? That sucks.
Oh no.
Elton, where everything has to have horns. Yeah, horns, antlers. If they go Native American, they for some reason, they put horse or deer or like.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, trust me, our folklore is pretty scary in and of itself if you don't add horns and hooves to it.
Well, it's Anglo-centric.
And if you wanted horns or hooves, just use one of the mythological beings that has
the
horns
deer
or
woman.
hooves.
The deer woman has horns and hooves. Why can't we just use her?
Yeah.
Because she gonna come get them.
Well, because they take something that's ethereal and then they give it to an Anglo-centric designer and they do what they do. I think the only example of like Mesoamerican art and culture being adapted by an Anglo-centric artist happened a long time ago and really hasn't happened too much since, unless you're near like a border town and like see some really cool like local art. But like
That's fair.
The artist Stanislaw Suplowski, it's a Polish artist, but he would incorporate like Mesoamerican elements in a way that was respectful and cool, and he wasn't ever trying to depict something Native American. He was adapting it to a European thing. Like here's my version of Thor, but it's like almost Aztec looking. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
As opposed to like an Anglo-centric production designer who does CG stuff, and they're just like, it's a Native American this, that, and he just reads half of the script and goes, okay, I kind of have some ideas. Antlers, hooves, I get you. It's like, no, dude, you're doing it wrong. He's like, he's gonna be dripping dream catchers for no reason. Like, dude, no, this is bordering racist. Like, this is So let's.
It's very strange.
Yeah, Hollywood's interesting.
Heller.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to me what folklore they decide to use.
Yes, well, yes.
Like they seem to specifically ignore the ones that are women centric. You know, like the deer woman. And the movie that they used to talk about the deer woman was really awful. Don't watch it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that was. I think that is bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Or like but they always pick ones that they make sure aren't female centric, like deer woman, like Tataclia.
No strong females until like nowadays with like A24 and stuff like that. Like, we have the hope of that happening, but back last 4 years and back, nah, ain't happening.
They always make them out to be awful too. Just Dear Woman's not awful. It's another idea of fuck around and find out. You fuck around, you're gonna find out. She'll make sure. But anytime they ever talk Native American folklore and they bring women into it, it's always the most evil of creatures. You know,
the most evil of creatures, or it's like, they tried the worst is where they try to say that it's the Native American explanation for like a Latin centric demon.
Yes, it's very strange.
Like the fuck, man. The
Or
fuck?
they will call something one thing that doesn't necessarily mean that in tradition. Like,
could you not colonize the Wendigo, please?
yeah, can we not do that? I was watching a movie one time. It was I don't even remember the name of the movie, but it was supposedly this, old woman, Native American spirit, and she would come and she'd fuck up your world. And they called her the Ishkatini. And I'm like, no, that is Choctaw folklore, and that's not what that means.
That's not what that means.
You can't just turn it into whatever you want, asshole.
I'm gonna just glue a bunch of wings and eyeballs to myself and call myself whatever. I'm a biblically accurate Furby.
Do it. You're biblically accurate Furby.
Sorry, Luke showed me a meme. Somebody had made a biblically accurate Furby was the title, but they just glued a bunch of eyes and wings to a Furby. It was frightening. It looked scary as hell.
I can only imagine.
Oh. Let's push forward. Take the mic for a second, Arianthe. I'm gonna grab some tea.
Yeah.
Feel free to talk over this and stuff, gang.
Sure.
Rage at it. These are going to be bad.
I will.
The movie is written by Tyler Hazel, and it stars Canadian actor Kevin Durand, American actor and musician Lucas Haas, and Bianca Kajlik. Cinematographer Ryan Samuel, with his dramatically different filming styles throughout the film, made the scenes look unique and wonderful. The bright and bluish tinted exposure of the film, in contrast to the dark setting for the monster, brings out the gripping fear, thrill, and suspense of the plot. The film has more or less a classic horror ending with an open loop for a sequel. Shot in just 20 days, the film is a genuinely engaging Wendigo flick with class-apart special effects.
That monster looks
in short, if you are a fan of Wendigo creatures, then this movie is your jam.
No, it's not.
Number 2, Wendigo 2001. George is a high-strung professional photographer who's beginning to suffer from depression as a result of the pressure of his job at a Manhattan advertising firm. Needing to get away from the city, he and his wife Kim, as well as their 10-year-old son Miles, travel to upstate New York to enjoy the winter vistas. George inadvertently strikes and seriously injures a deer who rushed onto the slippery road. After George stops to investigate the damage, he is met by an enraged local called Otis, who tells George that he and his other hunters had been pursuing the deer for some time. A dispute erupts, leaving George frightened. When George and Kim arrive at their cabin,
dead now. I don't know why they're mad.
A dark and scary presence has taken control. When they stop at a market near the cabin the next day, a shopkeeper tells Miles about the legend of the Wendigo, a malformed beast from Native American tradition who transforms from a person to a horrible beast after participating in cannibalism.
It looks like they're
The shopkeeper
looks
also
like they're just trying to do a Native American version of The
Exorcist, as well as
why are they like
its appearance.
Who the hell?
Miles can't
What kind of adult is just like, hey, 10-year-old little boy, let me tell you this terrifying story.
Yeah. Let me
my dad.
Well, yeah, but your dad does that to you.
Let me really freak you the fuck out.
No, any kid he could terrify, really.
That's fair, but it was probably like one of your friends or something. Your dad never scared me. I can't remember ever meeting your dad, though.
Crapping kids at the grocery store, like, listen here, kid. Out there in those woods, there's heat. It's gonna fucking light you on fire and eat you. And it's like, whoa, dude, I'm 8.
Like, who does that? Who just grabs a child and is like, listen, I know you're 10, but I need to tell you about skinwalkers. It's a real problem, man.
They're a problem.
Yeah. Especially here in upstate New York.
Skinwalkers,
1,000 miles from Skinwalker Ranch.
You don't. You think Woodstock was wild? Wait till these Wendigos get together.
Released to theaters on January 23, 2001, Wendigo is an American independent psychological horror film.
Malcolm
the film
in the Middle.
was released for
It is Dewey, yeah.
and scored $1,100 on opening weekend. Directed and written by Larry Fessenden, the spooky elements of the film revolving
Were
around
those supposed to be the
supernatural
same
forces
monster?
and
Yes.
long-lasting
Yeah.
impact on the audiences. The build-up for the film is praiseworthy
Oh,
and
that
takes
is
a
bad.
noticeable amount of runtime.
That is a
You know what that looks
Larson
like?
and Jake Weber, acting has been
something that'd be in like
A furry suit?
I was gonna say furry suit, but it looks like one of those PETA people that dress up as the animals and like rub fake blood all over them to try and freak
Yeah.
people out.
Yeah.
If you went back in time to the guy who designed the bat suit for Batman 1989 and explained the Wendigo and said, "Make me a suit," that's what he'd make. Or if you explained furries, that's what he'd make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or like the very first Ninja Turtle suit, but about 40 years
Like,
in 40 years, the rubber just starts to fall apart.
you have to keep it like shellacked and greased and stuff so it bends proper. You got to keep it like moved and softened. Ugh. That was a weird cost. This is a weird choice. And it's 2001. It's not 1989. I don't know why they're... you got Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. He was a draw? He was a draw at the time?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dewey was some... He was there. He was popping.
I don't know about draw, but I mean...
He could have been.
People would have seen this commercial and been like, oh, hey!
Yeah.
It's that kid from Malcolm in the Middle.
That's where Dewey is. He's getting chased by a Wendigo.
We were afraid he was on drugs.
Yeah.
Well, there he is.
I'm going to mispronounce Wendigo whenever it's one of these Hollywood horrible Wendigos. It's like a Wendigon, Wendigorn.
Wendichew. We're just going to start calling it a Pokemon.
If it's got eyeliner on, Wendigoth.
Oh.
Probably one of the best.
That was a good one.
Even though they're all bad. Weird. All right.
Pressing on.
That first one was the Wendigo.
The Wendigo.
Ooh,
yeah, this one is.
Brilliance of the
it's like
cinematographer. Though the ending could have been better, the film does maintain an
Dollar
underlying
General
depressing
Cronenberg
vibe,
effects.
which leaves a strong impact on all horror lovers.
Oh, ooh. Oh. Now that's how I imagine. That's how I imagine somebody experiencing a Wendigo possession to act. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe.
Like you kind of maybe snarl, you maybe bite at people.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna go Hollywood bad with it, I'm not mad at that. But this is also called Antlers.
Yeah, that's true.
So this movie's probably horrible.
Yeah.
But
2021. Frank Weaver operates a meth lab.
Wendigo who? Yeah.
He operates a meth lab. Oh, well, that explains the whole movie. Thank you.
There we go. It's a meth lab.
We got it.
Yep. It's they wanted to mesh the appeal of Breaking Bad with Native American folklore and really talk about rural area greed. This is a moral. There's a moral to this story. And it's don't be an amoralistic, greedy meth lord. Be a generous meth lord.
Yeah, duh.
It's so weird. So weird.
Are assaulted by an unknown monster.
You guys need to be. You need more
nomen.
nomen.
Outside the mine in his pickup, Aiden gets assaulted by the beast while investigating weird noises. Frank and Aiden survive their encounter with the beast and return home, where their condition rapidly deteriorates. Frank constructs a sealed chamber and insists Aiden's elder brother Lucas keep them confined at any cost. 3 weeks later, Lucas is out and about in town, gathering roadkill and slaughtering small animals before bringing them home. Julia Meadows, Lucas's teacher, is disturbed by Lucas's unusual behavior and terrible paintings and tries to connect with the troubled youngster.
That's so tropey. These are just scenes from other horror movies. This whole plot with this kid is just scenes from other horror. The Babadook, The Possession, The Exorcist, The Exorcism.
Like the paper's even torn the same way.
The beginning of this movie, the beginning of the movie where they're like driving to upstate New York is every other bad horror movie ever.
Yes.
They're just driving.
Yes. Why did they greenlight
going to stay in this
so
random
much?
House?
How are there stacks of original scripts just taking up office space, but then they keep greenlighting every unoriginal horror movie that comes across a fucking desk? It feels like
I don't know.
Like, are these movies exclusively made by like someone's grandkid? Like this is the grandkid of Goldwyn and Mayer. Like, damn. This is Thomas Edison's great-great-great-grandson's movie. Like, oh, cool. I'm sure it's not tropey and just a regurgitation of a bunch of other stuff we've already seen. Like, this poor troubled kid looks like he's gonna get eaten.
She suspects Lucas is being mistreated and becomes determined to save him. motivated by her childhood maltreatment at the hands of her mentally ill alcoholic father, despite her brother Paul.
Oh, see, it's got a dude from Breaking Bad. So Meth Lab, this dude from Breaking Bad. Here's the draw. Here's why they are. They were specifically what I said, trying to catch that Breaking Bad audience for no reason. They probably read this script probably came about because they read analytics that said that people who binge watched Breaking Bad also watch horror movies.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, okay, we gotta make something. We gotta make something. Put Thick Damon in a damn mustache and let's do this. Let's roll this out. Let's roll this out. He looks like if you gave only Matt Damon's head HGH. Sorry.
Paul's anxiety and school administrator Ellen Booth's disparaging comments, Julia pursues her research into Lucas, finally visiting his shabby house and hearing weird sounds.
Trench coat lady. She looks like she's about to chase down Hannibal Lecter. What is this? This is like AI wrote this. This is like an AI wrote this. They just put a bunch of horror movies and Breaking Bad into a computer and it spat this out. Antlers.
Directed by Scott Cooper, Antlers is a supernatural horror film adapted from Antosca's short story, The Quiet Boy, which was published in Guernica magazine in January 2019. The setting of the film vividly brings out the darkness of human lives and the supernatural forces. Despite being a horror movie about an unknown Wendigo, the film also centers around the struggles associated with the financial crisis of the poor. The cast has delivered some.
Its chest glows. I don't see why it's called Antlers. I haven't seen Antlers on a Wendigo once.
Thus far, no.
Yeah, like I like that that's not a thing, but then again, it's in the one movie titled Antlers.
Yeah.
This is so weird.
It's kind of funny.
I've discovered the perfect name from an algorithm. My name is Peanut
We're gonna call
Hammer.
it Antlers. Oh, does the Wendigo have antlers? No.
Well, no.
But hear me out.
There's a hallucination sequence where it does.
There's actually this moment in the beginning of the movie where they hit a deer and it has antlers.
Fat Damon sees antlers and thinks about the Wendigo.
Yep.
As he gets his Lipitor. Bam. That's the freeze frame of the day right there.
Jeez.
Full rodeo mode, Lux?
Full rodeo mode.
Assistant stuff? I'm so sorry.
Stop second guessing me on bullshit. You gotta stop doing it.
Yeah.
Or else I'm not gonna ask you to do anything. And then you can just quit when you want. Like, you're gonna be bored and quit because I cannot trust you to do things because all you do is second guess everything I fucking do.
Ooh.
That's been all day.
Ooh. She gonna kill
so
someone.
I want to do this because I want to ask for approval from Tia.
Jeez.
No, you don't. I asked you to do something.
Please do it.
It's not like you were on vacation and also were sick for 2 weeks and barely came back yourself. But
Yeah.
I'm the one who's wrong because I'm still.
You're there too much. You're there too much for that kind of bullshit.
I'm just irate. I have too much.
Your
to think
part-time
about
assistant
today
has no reason to talk to you like that.
Literally turn around and be like, you know what? Forget that thing I asked you to do. I will handle it because clearly you will not.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't need your help.
Yeah.
I got it. You're putting me even more behind, but I got it because you've made it clear.
Fire her and hire me. I'll be your
I'm just
assistant.
irate. Not trying to derail anything.
You're fine.
I'm just irate.
We're not like we're back to MURKradio OG. It's classic. You can interrupt.
The role of the sheriff, which is also his third consecutive sheriff role after American Made 2017 and Game Night 2018. The film's aspect of incorporating the horrors of daily life into a Wendigo flick is outstanding.
There's the antlers, and boy, do they look bad. Did you see that? It was like 35 points.
They're made of rubber, but not even like good rubber.
And it's mostly
No, zero quality.
Yeah, that was a stupid blend of practical and CG. That was bad. Yeah, that was a bad
They
blend.
forgot the antlers last minute and went to the dollar store.
Yeah. I will say that seems closer to what I have in my mind for like a Wendigo thing, but the Meth Lab thing, Thick Damon, that's a cash grab movie right there.
Dollar Tree Wendigo.
Again, only this time our hunger was different.
Number 4, Ravenous, 1999.
Ravenous from 99. You know this is going to be a gem. They have to be doing art.
This is the Wendigo that they ordered off Wish.
This is the Wendigo we have at home? This is the Wendigo we have at
During
home?
the Mexican-American War, Second Lieutenant
is
John
Ravenous.
Boyd of the United States Army loses his bravery in combat.
Who is this not Brad Pitt? This is Chad Pitt, dude. Who is this guy? I about said, oh, it's got Brad Schmidt? That's not Brad Pitt. Who is that? Who is that? It's like, again, if you face...
It's a stunt double.
Yeah, he does Tom Cruise, Ethan Hawke, and Brad Pitt. He's a stunt double for all three of them.
And in an act of cowardice,
Chad Hawk.
pretends to be
Chad
dead while
Hawk.
his battalion is butchered.
I'm Brad Falcon.
His apparent bravery gains him a captain's promotion, but when General Slauson
Baller.
learns of the
What
cowardice
movie
that
is
led
this?
to victory,
Ravenous from 1999, and it takes
Oh,
place...
no.
Yeah, it's a period piece about a Wendigo. This is gonna hold up, I bet.
he
Jeez.
exiles Boyd to Fort Spencer, a distant military outpost high in the Sierra Nevada, overseen by
Got
retired
him.
but humorous Colonel Hart, and manned by a motley crew of misfits. Soon after Boyd joins the garrison,
It's got what's his name from the Arrowverse. Okay, so you know it's a CD list movie if it's got that blonde dude.
David Arquette is in this movie?
Comes recounting a harrowing story
Believe that.
of how his wagon
Oh, no.
There's Joe Jackman, that's Hugh's brother.
train became lost in the mountains because Colonel Ives promised the group a speedier path to the Pacific Ocean, but took them on a more torturous route, trapping the group in snow for 3 months. Colquhoun and his fellow travelers were driven to cannibalism as a result of famine, and he claims Ives resorted to murder. A rescue mission is formed to locate any survivors and apprehend Ives. George tells people departing about the Wendigo myth.
The front
which
cover of
states
this
that
movie's
anybody
funny.
consumes
Yeah, I bet. I can
you
only
seen
imagine. No.
It's a mouth with like fangs. And it says you are who you eat, but the Wendigo doesn't have fangs.
And why would they market it like that when it's a period piece? Yeah, you can't even tell it's a period piece by the art. It is. It's some, this one's just a bad early digital mouth. Here's a redone.
Oh, see, the one I looked at it had fangs. Oh, good. Maybe they changed it before they released this garbage.
Yeah, this is a fan movie poster though. Here's an old one. I'm not mad at that one. At least that one vibes like a period piece.
Yeah.
But boy,
That one just screams like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
yeah.
And that one looks more Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, this You Are Who You Eat. This one looks like it's a bad, like early or late '90s sequel to it's a Gen X sequel to Rocky Horror.
Yeah,
Right? That mouth is singing some Rob Zombie style shit.
it is.
Here's a hard copy that just has 3 dudes with the blood splatter and it says Ravenous.
hmm
You can almost tell that's a period piece with that artwork.
I mean, almost, but it kind of screams bad Ned Kelly rendition.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty awful.
Yeah. Okay, here's some OG shit. It's like a knife.
Looks like Sling Blade.
Yeah, that's a frequent.
Everything about this movie has been taken from other movies.
A lot of the last movie too, where it's like,
Yeah.
did an early computer write Ravenous?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Like they fed it every Brad Pitt movie, they fed it every Tom Cruise movie, and then there was this like, it really got hung up at where those two were in a movie together. It was like, ooh, Interview with the Vampire. Let's really.
But also, but what happened was somebody went into the computer and was like, no, Wendigo is an ancient story.
Mhm.
And then we got this.
They're like, yeah, no, it's gonna be a period piece. Like, okay, there's too much going on here.
And they're like, you know who'd be best in this movie? David Arquette.
There's 3 hats in a hat and a hat.
the flesh of their opponents, gains their power, but becomes a demon cursed with an insatiable thirst for more human flesh.
The more he wants to,
That dude's career is gone.
The stronger he becomes.
Yeah.
That dude turned out to be a career.
Ravenous is a 1999 horror western cannibal film that is skipped.
He doesn't even know how to describe it. It's a horror western cannibal film from 1999.
Schizophrenic.
Oh man, David Arquette's here.
Doesn't follow any conventional genre rules. The film in its early stage successfully establishes a cold and menacing tone and smartly overcomes typical vampirism by using cannibalism, where one transforms into a Wendigo-like creature after consuming human flesh.
They're all covered in blood. Which one of those two dudes is the Wendigo? Because he looks evil, but he always looks evil to me now because he was actually evil. This other dude's just bloody. This guy, he does look like he's maybe not the Wendigo, but maybe has been moonlighting and is unaware.
Yeah.
More like the same food, but with a new dressing. The film was offbeat from commercial.
Yeah, that sweater and collar vibe does not necessarily fit the period they went for. So even from shots in their own film, you can't tell it's a period piece.
Mm-hmm.
That's classic low-budget 99.
Commercial horror flicks, and despite failing at the box office,
they got that at Gap.
Everything's vaguely a sequel to The Crow.
Everything.
Like everything.
You know they're redoing The Crow.
Yeah, well, they've been saying that. Momoa's out again. He doesn't want to do it now.
No, now they're talking about Bill Skarsgård.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, I'm into it though.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. That actually, he could be like
Bill Skarsgård I like a lot more than Momoa.
Yeah, Momoa didn't really make sense.
Not in general, but right, Momoa doesn't make sense. I need you to look like that early 90s rock star, you know, the skinny boy.
Give me a Hiddleston, jack up a Hiddleston or something. Like, give me a goth boy. The Tumblr crowd has to be this has to be for them. You know what I mean? Like, this has to be
right.
an element of the female demographic that's like on Tumblr, like the goth lady.
Yeah, so now they've
out there. It's got to be for you.
Yeah, now they've picked Bill Skarsgård. Not mad about it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not. That actually makes a lot more sense than Momoa. Yeah. I thought maybe they'd fumble it worse. And they're like, we're bringing Arnold back. Like, bitch, he's older than Brandon Lee. Would be. What are you talking about?
Yeah, April 1st, 2022, The Crow reboot. Bill Skarsgård cast in lead role for the latest reboot of The Crow.
Weird.
Ultimate modern cult film. The Wendigo does not directly...
Ultimate modern cult film, that dude just described this movie as. If any of you are out there simping for Ravenous, please let me know in the comments.
Appear in the movie, but its eerie presence is what makes it to this list. This film is sure to amaze all horror movie lovers and is a must-watch.
That was a solid headbutt. Alright, what's this?
Number 5, The Retreat, 2020. The Retreat begins with two friends, Gus and Adam, who set off on a hiking trek for Adam's bachelor party, where they are warned about the advent of the Wendigo. Gus can't remember what occurred during the night, except for the fact that he finds Adam dead. After a terrifying encounter with a monster, Gus finds himself alone and disoriented. Now he must combat the deadly Native American legend, the Wendigo, for his life and sanity. Gus gets caught up in attempting to recall, with a therapist trying to persuade him to open up about the truth before it's too late, revealing a truth that Gus...
Yeah.
This is Until Dawn.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is this just... Like, I've
this
heard
is
this
Until Dawn
a couple of times.
Lux.
Yeah, Lux, this is just Until Dawn. This movie they made.
May not want to talk about. Written and directed by Bruce Wemple, The Retreat revolves around two guys facing the torments of a Wendigo
boldly aggregated by Bruce Wemple
creature during their winter trip
in the
Adirondack high peaks of upstate New York. It is an American horror film
New
where the prime antagonist is
I'm telling you, every time.
The empowering nature of the creature is well demonstrated in the first distressing encounter in the woods, and to say the least, it is extremely thrilling and enjoyable to watch on screen. The plot of the film might seem a bit confusing as it goes back and forth.
Close-up just looked like Eddie from Iron Maiden. It's just like the undead dude from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Like I almost went like Eddie, like fuck yes, Maiden. Like I almost
through several timelines trying to stitch all of them to explain how the trip of the two friends went. All bizarre.
See, that was actually the perfect example of what I was talking about with like an Anglo-centric designer, just like kind of ham-fisted cramming stuff. Like,
might seem a bit confusing as it goes
it?
back and forth through several timelines.
This shot here. Like, this is just like skulls and antlers and twigs and shit. Like, this doesn't mean anything to anybody.
This is just unnerving, if anything.
Yeah.
Like, fire is not involved in the Wendigo at all.
No.
Yeah. Unless you got that fever, then you feel like you're on fire, but that's a fever.
I mean,
They very clearly described that as a fever.
in
That's not
legend,
fire.
that's kind of how you keep them at bay when you're in the woods. Start the fire.
Yeah, this one's like eating it. This one's like, I love fire.
Yeah.
I am fire. Look at my
This
weird,
one, I am fire.
my weird plant antlers, my plantlers.
I feel like they ripped this
So
whole
I know
story
there's-
from Until Dawn.
It's like someone was like, so I heard they're supposed to have a heart of ice, but hear me out. Heart of fire instead.
They breathe fire. They are. What if they're trash behind some fire? Like, wow. No. Missed the prompt entirely.
Stitch all of them to explain how the trip of the two friends went, all bizarre. To suit this narrative, Wemple has done some good work setting different tones between the different sections of the storylines by changing the cinematic styles, and together with a background score, he was successful in bringing out the vibe of fear and confusion that he wanted. Getting back to the ghoulish beast, the design of the creature is phenomenal, and the movie consists of some bloody attacks which will strike the right chord of fear in you.
Is it phenomenal? Which had a dramatic dip in quality.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is some Xena Warrior Princess animation.
Wow, we went to stop motion claymation stuff like quick.
Wallace and Gromit.
Number 6, Frostbiter.
Legend.
The Wrath of the Wendigo, 1995. The plot revolves around a
And then it dips even lower in quality. What is this?
group of friends and strangers forced to defend themselves in an isolated mountain house
Oh,
from a creature
gosh.
known as the Wendigo.
Legend became life when I came face to face with the monstrous.
It all starts when a couple of rednecks kill the Guardian by mistake. The Guardian was
I love that he calls them a couple of rednecks.
Whoa, why is it just Patrick Stewart with an eye patch?
a guy dressed
It
in
just-
a hideous
it looks
old man
like-
mask who was in
It looks like early Jackass. It's Johnny Knoxville. He's
This is
bad grandpa.
Yeah, this is Darkest Timeline bad grandpa. This is worse grandpa. Man. What? What?
in charge of keeping the Wendigo at bay.
Why didn't they just
And
get an
then the
actual
couple
old
let
Say
person?
my name.
Why not just get a real old dude?
I don't know.
I
It
don't
just it
understand.
caught me off. It was kind of like the end of Neverending Story.
Yeah. That
When a
was...
mystical
It's just
circle
repeating
It was
words.
like a
This
first year college project and they couldn't find anyone old enough on such short time.
Yes.
Short notice.
Oh,
The
they
one
do,
professor they wanted to do it was out that day.
they do the jump scare with the really cheap skull really fast. And I managed to catch it. Look at that fake cheap
That's
ass.
cute.
Look at that shitty spring-loaded jump scare they
This
did.
monster has the power to shapeshift into a variety of various shapes, resulting in a great deal of hilarity and
Wait.
terrible carnage.
The Wendigo doesn't shapeshift.
Yeah, they're mixing up like deer woman and not deer and a whole bunch of shit. They're just like it's
Yeah.
it's vaguely Native American.
We'll just call it a skinwalker. Everything's a skinwalker.
Yeah.
Survival appears to be impossible until a young lady appears claiming to be the chosen one with the power to defeat the Wendigo. Directed by Tom Chaney, Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo is an independent comedy horror film by Trauma Entertainment.
one of those was
Despite
just
having
Assault
a plot
Vampire
similar
from
to
Star
that
Trek.
of Evil Dead, the film has the requisite elements for a horror enthusiast. In simpler terms, the movie is like a delightful revisit to a familiar
What was that like little mini dog from a Ghostbusters thing that it was? The hell?
territory. Even with low-budget effects, the movie has
Yeah,
adequate
that
gore
is
with the Wendigo
rough.
killings. The movie is a decent Wendigo horror film.
Oh,
and a
that's bad. They do the look at that. It was from this movie. The claymation was from the climax of this
Oh,
movie.
good watch for
That
ardent
is
horror
so
followers.
That's
Wrong.
awful.
You just don't make the movie if you don't have a budget. Oh, Exhibit B in that lesson.
2006. Kit Corporation, an American oil corporation, is constructing an ice road to explore the...
What the hell was this one called? The Last Winter. Oh no.
Northern Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in search of energy independence. In a type of arrangement with the government,
no, they got Ron Perlman, they got our boy Ron.
Collaborate on a drilling base led by
and they got Lois, not Lois Lane, they got what's her name from American Horror Story.
A nice football game outside the housing area is disrupted when an environmental scientist, Elliot, collides with rookie oil worker Maxwell, resulting in Elliot's bleeding nose. Maxwell is startled that night when he sees a haunting herd of caribou galloping by the camp. The frightening sight of the ghostly creatures frightens him. When a team member is discovered dead, nude on the snow, environmental...
Yeah, that Wendigo fever, dude.
James Hoffman fears that gases from the drill site were accidentally discharged, causing hallucinations and insanity in the group. Following a second deadly occurrence, he persuades Ed to accompany the team to a hospital for inspection.
See, this movie has some names in it. It's just very... They're like TV names. You know what I mean? They're not movie names.
But people continue to die. The 2006 horror film The Last Winter is a logical progression of Larry Fessenden's recurring man vs. nature theme. The attack of the mysterious Wendigo-like creature symbolizes the wrath of nature in response to man's infliction of never-ending damage to the environment.
I'm telling you, there's something out there that's trying to drive us out of here. It's like a force fighting back.
The movie premiered in the Contemporary World Cinema program at the 2006 Toronto International Film Festival on September 11th, 2006. The theme is even-handed, and the way Fessenden combined horror and moral values on the environment is unique and commendable. Such a setting is not usually seen in horror flicks. Despite having its base on environmental issues, the horror aspect of the film is not compromised. The creature is terrifying, and there are moments of terror and thrill which are pretty effective
worse than
for a
Kangaroo
horror
Jack.
film. The plot has a slow build-up, which might be a note for the critics, but is sure enough to get Fessenden new fans.
Is it just straight up the show Supernatural? Was that fucking...
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I forgot there was a Wendigo in Supernatural.
Number 8. Wendigo episode, Supernatural, Season 1, Episode 2. Sam and Dean travel back to the Blackwater Ridge along with the clues their father wrote in his diary after spending a week in Palo Alto seeking the creature that killed Jessica. Ranger Wilkinson at the Lost Creek Trail Ranger Station misidentifies the boys as friends of Haley Collins, the sister of Tommy Collins, a youngster who went missing while on a camping trip. Sam and Dean pay a visit to Haley on a whim, and she shows them the final video Tommy gave her via cell phone before vanishing. Sam conducts some investigation and discovers that individuals go missing in Blackwater.
You gave that video to two random Chads, but not the police?
Right? That was my question when I was watching this show. Okay, I'm gonna admit it. I've never finished Supernatural, ever.
No, I couldn't.
Y'all can be mad. Y'all can be mad, that's fine. But it's because of stupid shit like that.
I had other stupid shit on CW I was watching at the time.
Like Charmed.
Arrow and Flash. I was watching Arrow and Flash.
Yeah.
It was...
A survivor of the alleged bear assault in 1959, and the elderly man tells them it was a thing that was smart enough to unlock the cabin door, screamed like no man or animal, and moved like lightning that killed his family. Sam and Dean know that they are in the presence of a Wendigo after consulting their father's notebook. American dark fantasy TV series Supernatural, created by Eric Kripke, had Wendigo as their supernatural threat in Season 1, Episode 2. It was responsible for the abduction of Tommy Collins. The episode was aired on September 20th, 2005, and circulates the Colorado Wendigo.
It looks better in effects in 2005 than that movie from 2006.
Along with other abilities like super strength, agility, and immortality. Directed by David Nutter, the film picks up its high place from the very beginning.
David Nutter. Haha, because I'm a child.
The episode sets a good example for filmmaking and is a good watch.
Director of photography, Jill Squirter
Skin and
and
Bones
David
Fear
Nutter.
Itself TV show.
Ew.
Grady, the owner of a remote property, and his pals went hunting in the chilly
Skin and
Highlands.
Bones.
Rowdy, his brother, has been looking after the farm while Grady is away, along with Grady's wife, Elena, and their 2 boys, Derek and Tim. Even as 10 days have passed since the trip, no one has heard from the hunting team. The sheriff and rescue teams have suspended the search until the weather improves. Rowdy is about to leave when he and Elena notice Grady limping towards the home. He runs out to rescue Grady along with Eddie Bear, a Native American who lives with the family. He appears to be wounded and suffering from frostbite. When his family goes up to check on him, they realize that he doesn't look the same as he used to. Rowdy and Eddie Bear are awakened at night by a weird howling noise outside and worried neighing coming from the horse stables. They look into it and discover that one of their horses has been butchered. The next day, Eddie Bear approaches Grady with a knife and tells him about his uncle, who had vanished in the woods and reappeared weeks later, looking very much like Grady.
I know this one, look, it's got Doug Jones. I think that's Doug Jones. It's shot like, some Walker, Texas Ranger, but this one's kind of dope so far. I'm mad at this.
I kind of want to watch it. Y'all want to put it in the watch party list?
Yeah, we might have to. Let me get the name of it again. Was it Skin and Bones? Fear Itself. Oh, it's a TV show. Okay.
Now,
okay.
Before murdering his own family.
That's fine.
Later,
That's
Eddie
even
Bear
better.
informs Rowdy that his uncle was possessed by a Wendigo and massacred his family before being shot down by police. Eddie Bear believes Grady has also been possessed and attempts to persuade Rowdy. Skin and Bones is the 8th episode of the American horror suspense anthology.
Yeah, it's definitely Doug Jones.
TV series Fear Itself.
Why did it extend his teeth? Oh, this guy is hard looking.
Larry Fessenden. It was the last episode of the series and was aired on NBC. The script has a few weak links, but even with what Fessenden made is commendable. Not to mention Doug Jones playing the role of Grady Edlund, who did a phenomenal job. The fear aspect of the film is well brought out, and overall, it is a good watch.
This looks like some Star Trek TNG right here. This is some X-Files era.
The Wendigo Charmed, Season 1, Episode...
There was a Wendigo in Charmed?
There was, yeah!
Oh, snap. I didn't know that.
Piper has a flat tire and has requested assistance from Prue and Phoebe. Waiting in vain, Piper chooses to call the auto club, but her phone runs out of battery power. She notices a phone booth. She hears someone in the woods while heading to the phone booth. She dashes towards the booth and locks the door behind her. A hairy beast assaults and infiltrates the booth. When a man appears and fires a flare pistol at the beast, it escapes. Meanwhile, Piper's left arm appears to be scratched. Billy Waters...
It's my favorite Chad move, too. Just immediately discharge a flare gun. Like one of my favorite things to cat.
I love Charmed. There are some episodes of Charmed that are super cringe, but you don't care because it's Charmed.
Yes, exactly. Well, I won't lie. It was on when I was a youth. Young man me probably only watched it on mute. I won't lie. Don't judge me.
I watched it.
I couldn't tell you a single, much of the storyline. I know, some of the stuff.
Oh, I love Charmed.
Baby mama.
Charmed and Xena. We used to watch it together, her and I.
Yeah. She loves some Charmed, but
we used to watch, and then after it ended, we watched Charmed reruns. We watched Xena together when I'd stay the night. She'd come stay the night. We watched Xena.
Xena's the jams.
It really was.
That era of Xena and Hercules. That was a fun time. Yeah, Charmed never really.
Hercules was rad until I grew up and realized that he was a piece of shit.
Oh, well, until Kevin Sorbo went full fundamentalist Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went full fundamentalist Christian and went real weird and preachy.
Until I grew up and went, ew.
Yeah, he got weird with it.
The flare rifle introduces himself to be an injured Piper. Andy takes him to FBI agent Fallon, who informs him of the beast. Billy tells the sisters about the monster, which killed his fiancée, Laura, by tearing out her heart. Andy is perplexed as to why Billy has a flare pistol. Billy explains that it appears to be terrified of fire. Piper checks the Book of Shadows and learns that the beast is known as a Wendigo. Directed by James L. Conway, The Wendigo is the 12th episode of the American supernatural drama TV series Charmed, created by Constance M. Burge. It was originally aired in the United States on the WB. It was in this episode where one of the sisters, Piper, turns into something evil for the first time. The creature shown is very menacing and scary, depicting a great work from the makeups department of the production. With pleasing guest appearances by Bill Jane and Christina Milian,
antlers.
The episode is a pretty good one.
No
Various
antlers.
aspects of the storyline
It's just kind of
exceptionally
Sasquatchy.
well, and the tone of the episode is quite dark compared to the other episodes of the series. We highly recommend this episode to all horror lovers.
And it can look like Alyssa Milano, so.
I thought we could be a family.
Bonus points.
To be a family, but we can't.
Number 11, Pet Sematary 2019.
Oh, wait. Hold up. There's a Wendigo in the newest Pet Cemetery?
I didn't know that.
I haven't seen the 2019 Pet Cemetery.
I have, and I didn't know that.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Wait, is there?
I guess so. And this guy at Marvelous Movies likes it. Let's see.
Lewis
Wow.
Creed, an ER doctor from Boston, Massachusetts, relocates to the small hamlet of Ludlow, Maine with his wife Rachel, their 2 children Ellie and Gage, and Ellie's favorite cat Church after being evicted from their house. Rachel and Ellie are exploring the woods when they come across a funeral procession of youngsters carrying a dead dog to a cemetery named Pet Cemetery. Church
Creepy.
gets killed by a vehicle on Halloween. Jude Crandall, a neighbor who
John
adores
Lithgow.
Ellie, drives Lewis beyond the pet cemetery to an old burial place to bury Church. The following day, Lewis is taken aback and Church returns home alive, but he is different, angry and violent, ripping apart a fowl and eating it alive. Jude tells Lewis
Is there
that
a
the burial
Wendigo in the
place
book?
brings things back
I don't
from the
remember.
dead and is said to be
Don't
haunted by
remember.
a spirit known as the Wendigo. Based on Stephen King's
Wait.
1983 novel of the same name, Pet Sematary released in 2019 and is the second adaptation after Mary Lambert's in 1989. As stated by King, this movie is a better representation of his novel than the previous one.
Got you. So there is a Wendigo in the novel, I believe. Damn.
Okay.
Damn. Okay, so they butchered you the first time then. I'm glad they have it in
Grossed
there.
over $113 million
Do you?
worldwide and received appreciation for its dark tone and phenomenal performances of the
Debbie
actors.
loves Charmed.
Despite lacking
Yeah,
the appearance
Charmed
of any
is-
fixed Wendigo
Yeah.
creature,
What up, ladies?
the
You
movie
guys-
makes it
yeah.
to the category because of the presence and influence of the unknown supernatural spirit called Wendigo. The entity transformed the dead into vicious and malicious beings. Though the plots are identical, the latter scares more than the first adaptation. The display of balance between humor, drama, and horror, along with the inner turmoil in the relationship of the seemingly ordinary couple, is portrayed remarkably by directors Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer. Although the plot is known to all, this movie is worth a watch for its production and strong
It
acting.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12, Devil in the Dark, 2017. Adam travels to Washington State to see his estranged brother Clint and rekindle their connection after 15 years apart. Clint had always been their father, Glenn's favorite, and Adam is filled with anguish and despair about the same. The aim is to go on a
'Cause he's
hunting
not
trip
the
over the
favorite.
weekend.
Yeah. This is
Where's
quite
your
the-
LeBaron,
yeah.
and solve
Freddy?
their problems.
Yeah.
They retreat as they come upon a cave encircled with deer antlers. However, they
More antlers. Anglo-centric design. He was just giving.
Oh my
they just
goodness.
gave a cracker.
I'm
a prompt.
haunted by antlers.
Yeah, they just gave a cracker a prompt.
are being pursued and hunted by a strange entity, the Wendigo, and the two brothers struggle for their survival. Directed by Tim Brown and written by Carrie Dixon, Devil in the Dark is a horror film revolving around a Wendigo that torments two brothers during their hunting trip. The film has some good acting performances by Robin Dunn, Dan Payne, and Daniel Cudmore. The movie is not particularly terrifying, but is enjoyable with some strong visuals and an excellent atmosphere throughout. It has a slow start with a normal brotherly quarrel, which is overpowered by a life and death situation. The visual effects are not that good with the design of the Wendigo, but the movie sure has some potential. The plot has a very tense and fear-gripping ending. With all these elements, the movie is a must-watch and a treat for horror lovers. Number 13, The Ritual, 2017.
Scream though.
Yeah.
Dom,
It's on
Luke,
soundboards
and Rob
everywhere.
are
Yeah, they
buddies
just use
who
the
gather
Wilhelm
at a pub
scream.
to organize a group vacation. Following that, Luke and Rob depart.
Why did he start at number 1 and now we're on 13? I just realized. It's like, wait, is this your least favorite at the end? Because
How did we get here?
These have gotten worse, I suppose.
I blacked out. I don't remember getting here.
Yeah, but the first one was also bad.
By booze, but they're interrupted by a heist in progress. The thieves murder Rob for not giving them his
I gotta
wedding
know
ring.
what
6
he
months
thinks
later,
number
in Rob's
14
memory, the
is.
surviving 4 embark on a trekking excursion along
What's the number list?
in North Sweden.
Yes, 1
When
through
the gang
14,
enters the
not
woodland,
14 to
they see
1.
weird occurrences such as a gutted elk hanging from numerous branches and
What's this
bizarre
guy's deal?
patterns engraved on trees. A violent rainfall drives them to seek refuge as night strikes. When they come across an abandoned cabin, they break in and spend the night. Inside, they discover bracelets with similar symbols as well as a statue made of twigs.
Some of those were Norse runes.
Human body with
Feels like
antlers
Blair
for
Witch.
hands. Luke has a nightmare about the heist during
The
the night.
second one, not the
Party
first
awoke
one.
the next
Yeah.
morning to discover Luke's chest bleeding from weird puncture wounds and a nude Phil praying to the statue.
See?
Whoa, he got the Wendigo fever fast. Phil was like, I gotta get these clothes off.
All of them having experienced
This feels like the second Blair Witch, does it not?
Yeah, he just
partially collapsed later
yeah.
that night. The surviving 3 hurry deeper into the woods in pursuit of him, but by
This is
daybreak,
just
they
a
discover they
Wendigo-centric
become disoriented
Blair
and are
Witch.
unable to find their
Yeah.
encampment. Hutch is found gutted and impaled by tree branches. Later, Phil is carried away by
Another movie written by an algorithm.
an unknown entity.
Yeah.
They run and take shelter, but are knocked unconscious. They wake up to find themselves captivated in a cellar and are being prepared for sacrifice by a woman. Directed by David Bruckner and written by Joe
Always
Barton.
a woman.
I'm not
Ritual
mad
is
at
a
that, though. That was
2017 British horror film starring Rafi Spall, Arsha Ali, Robert James Collier, and Sam Troughton. This
Okay,
male
so
bonding
it's
horror
a
flick
okay.
displays genius direction and successfully
British
overshadows
Wendigo
the loose
story.
ends of the plot. The entire film is atmospheric and
So they're
several
like
different
Norse runes and
elements are
shit.
used to enhance
Somebody
the
like
moments of
smuggled
fear.
a Wendigo.
Rustling of leaves, lens flares, etc. The design of the Wendigo-like monster is great and looks creepy. To sum it up, the production of the film is pretty decent, but the plot could have been better. It's better if watched in theaters, as the effects and elements of fear can be experienced
Oh, I've
in a
seen
better
this.
manner.
Yeah, that's like almost left.
Now that I'm looking at it, I've seen it.
What was the name of that one?
The last one was The Ritual.
Yeah.
2017.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, that one didn't. That one was interesting. It looks like straight up number 14 or number 1 is in Until Dawn.
This is Until Dawn, yeah.
It just is Until Dawn.
And Remy Malek immediately.
Yeah. So, okay.
Number 14, Wendigos of Until Dawn. Bonus. Until Dawn's ultimate adversaries are the Wendigos.
Bitch, you
supposed to be 14.
Bitch, you said 14. No, this is number 1.
Yeah, number 1.
It's number 1.
It's not a bonus. What do you mean bonus? I mean, there's something better than Until Dawn?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
Correct.
he says it's this favorite. That's what he means. This guy's nuts. This guy. What's your deal, guy? Why is no?
Turned into
Number
cannibalistic
1.
monsters after being possessed
Until
by the
Dawn.
Wendigo spirit. The Makapatu was looking for Hannah and Beth Washington the night they went missing. The stranger was on the quest for the Wendigo, but he couldn't save the 2 girls. Mike and Jess, who were being pursued on their trip to Washington Cabin, come across the first Wendigo. After mutilating a deer, the Wendigo pursues the pair until they reach a cabin. The Wendigo continues to observe the pair and soon throws Jessica's phone out the window.
Spoilers ahead for Until Dawn. I just said I haven't played it, so yeah, you guys be warned.
I appreciate the music in this.
The Wendigo then drags Jess through the door's window into an abandoned mining facility. The Wendigo leaves Jessica gravely hurt, but she has the chance to make it alive if Mike moves swiftly. If he takes too long, the Wendigo will still have enough time to rip Jessica's lower jaw off, thus killing her. The Wendigo then lowers his gaze to Mike, allowing him enough time to fire. The Wendigo is next confronted by Matt and Emily in the fire tower. It triggers the motion sensor and bangs on the hatchet in an attempt
Yeah, yeah, I think this guy's kind of.
First of all, when you meet Jessica's jaw gets ripped off. Homegirl falls down an elevator, my dude. How did you do that?
I think he's explaining his really bad quick playthrough where everybody
This game is all about the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
To gain access to the top of the tower, after Emily unsuccessfully
Game is a lot
attempts
of
to
fun.
flee the
You should play
stranger,
it on
a
stream.
Wendigo appears behind him and immediately offers her
to.
flares to assist her and pushes her down a chute.
I have to
the
now.
minor Wendigos follow Mike and the wolf across the sanatorium's psychiatric wing. Sam and Mike both try to save Josh to obtain the cable car key and flee the mountain. They both discover the Wendigo's lair full of dead hanging bodies of the strangers as if they were slain outside the lodge. Interactive drama survival horror adventure game developed by Supermassive Games Until Dawn has Wendigos as their main antagonists. The game was published by Sony Interactive Entertainment for the PlayStation 4 and officially released worldwide in August 2015. The creators have done more than just a commendable job in developing this cinematic game. A group of people staying at a resort on the mountains gets attacked by Wendigos, and every choice brings about a completely new path for the story. With each wrong choice or move, there can be a catastrophe of troubles.
Okay.
The Wendigos are heinous, and their designs are also quite scary. The sudden appearances from the attacking Wendigos are terrifying and require the player to make split-second choices. The game is like a movie unfolding and reaching its climax. The atmosphere of the game has a very dark setting and brings out the dread of the Wendigos. This game is really scary, and it is even entertaining to watch someone play, as it appears just like a horror movie.
I like that.
It has a really interesting cast too. That's Hayden Panettiere.
They kind of got the formula for this kind of quick time decision making.
Yeah. I know Remy Malek, Hayden Panettiere. There's a lot of
Megan Martin's in here.
I mean, they had Brenda Song in the Quarry, the newer game that just came out. Like, they just did a new one that's, I think, about werewolves.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Huh.
The song is in that.
We might just have to play some of these Supermassive games. These are fun.
If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
It is very good. I wish I could share it with you so you don't have to buy it.
That's right. It's fine.
Today we have a very special.
I want it.
It's really good.
But I gotta start. I gotta go get a hold of my kiddo. Check on my kiddo.
Yeah.
So we're
Give
going.
him all the love from us.
Dang straight. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap her on down.
Miss that little turkey.
I do too. I'll be back in town at some point and get to squeeze on everybody, man.
Yeah.
Now that COVID's finally going away and life is becoming more stable, Lux and I are falling up, if you will.
Hey.
We're shadow.
Did she get her thing recorded?
Not yet, but I'm sure it's going to happen soon. There's some vacation time coming up for everybody involved, so. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, we're still. You better believe we're still the shadow government. We are the Illuminati.
That's true.
Okay, the Wendigo. How do we beat it? Light it on fire. Add some cherry flavoring to its iced heart and snack down. Oof. Not.
I like the add some cherry flavoring to its iced heart. That's my vote.
Yeah. This was fun. I think we should maybe do this again. Just another Cryptid Roulette.
I love Cryptid Roulette.
We should do it sometime.
I have so many.
We'll play it by ear and just kind of roll with it. Now I have a title. Let's see if we end up with a playlist or some clips or something. But the Wendigo. Yes. I gotta rate them, right? If it's gonna be a series that we do, we gotta rate it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is Justin still in here with us? I don't have the actual viewer.
Justin.
Yep.
Boom. Okay. I'm gonna choose sexiness to be my scale that I rate it on. You guys choose a different scale. So frightfulness, who wants to judge it on scariness?
I was gonna say frightfulness, yeah.
Okay, Arianthe, scariness. Lux, you want to judge a cryptid in some manner?
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm sexiness. Arianthes, frightfulness.
Frightfulness. How would I put this? I want to see how like realistic they can be.
The skeptical view, is this a potentially real thing?
Yeah. Like, is it believable?
Okay.
Like, how believable is it?
Okay, Justin, do you have a scale in which you would like to rate the Wendigo and future cryptids? We've got realism, frightfulness, and sexiness covered. Which leaves...
I mean, what else is there?
I suppose actual potential... Well, no, that'd be realism, I suppose, but... rated on... spirituality in a way?
It doesn't fall under deity.
We could rate it on how often how poorly it is portrayed in the media.
There we go. There we
easy.
go. Have they done justice? Have they done justice to it? Yes. Okay.
Low-hanging fruit is still fruit.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 on a scale of 10 for sexiness because it can shapeshift into whatever. Its goal is to seduce you sometimes, and it's also a fertility thing. So, boom, 9 out of 10. Step aside, thick biggie. We got we got shape-shifting Wendigo stuff going on. Don't worry about it. A lot's changed in the meetings since you've been gone, thick biggie. Okay, Arianthe, how frightful on a scale of 10 do you think the Wendigo is?
Going from actual Native American folklore, I would give it a 6.
Got you. A 6. So
there's a lot more that are far more frightening.
Gotcha. It's a middling score. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lux,
like you have to be in a certain situation to get it, you know?
Yes, you have to actually. Yeah, there are circumstances that have to happen for it to work.
So just like don't fuck around, so you won't find out.
Yeah. Lux, realism.
For the Wendigo?
For the Wendigo. Skeptical brain.
I don't know. The stories that I've heard, I do kind of feel like maybe they're up in the mountains.
Oh, like maybe they are out there.
Yeah, like I feel like there's enough spiritual stuff going on with cannibalism, especially, that I think something could potentially happen to you.
Okay.
As like some kind of curse or punishment.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being Loch Ness Monster, caca nonsense, like we see the tape, we see the string, 10 being, oh, I believe this wholeheartedly. Where do you put the Wendigo?
Oh, probably about a 6.
About a 6,
like,
okay.
Just halfway, where I'm like, all right, this could be real.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It's right there in the unknown enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have just enough of like the traditional and cultural and spiritual stories of this Wendigo, but also we don't really have like too many real examples.
The thing that gets me about Wendigo and some Native American folklore in general,
people don't see them.
Yeah.
Or just folklore, period, is that there's so many different versions in different tribes, which kind of makes me go, is that real? You know, because there's people from different areas, from different pieces of the country, the world, that are like, hey, we have this thing too, but we call it this.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Genuine connective tissue. You can kind of put some pins in the map and throw some yarn up there and kind of get a Wendigo web going. Now we have Justin. How well do you think Hollywood treated this? Number 1 being straight up Plan 9 from outer space. Number 10, Ray. Jamie Foxx being Ray. Ray Charles. So everyone knows it's the perfect biopic.
That was
not up for debate. Biopic.
I'll give it a 4, only because even though, like, yeah, the big movies almost 99% of the time get it wrong, but there's a lot of, like, small stories that are made that I feel portray the mood appropriate.
Yeah, so more like CD list,
Okay.
like think pieces really nail it. But some of these, like, anytime they put a budget behind it, it just doesn't work out. I feel you. 4 is a very fair score on that. So,
also, how in the world did they call Ritual a Wendigo movie when it literally says it's about a child of Loki?
oh yeah, I was wondering, there were Norse runes in it and stuff. I'm like, is this even a Wendigo movie? Why is there?
The lady literally says, like, this is one of the offspring of Loki.
Yeah, like, wait, this is
in
about
the
Fenrir?
movie.
Yeah, it's just Fenrir, colon.
No, one of his bastard children that no one knows about.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Chief, it's unfortunate you popped in here right as I'm rolling out.
I figured, dude, that's like no big deal. Hear your voice for a second.
We miss you, though.
We miss you.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's working time.
Damn straight. The planets will align and we're gonna game down together. We've got a cooler setup going on now, so
hell yeah.
It's rolling. I'm live a lot more now. But Arianthe, thank you for being the person pulling the trigger on Cryptid Roulette and turning us on to the Wendigo today.
I'll always pull that trigger if you need me to.
Oh, this was actually a pretty pleasant surprise. Yeah, we're gonna be doing more Cryptid Roulette.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna roll up out of here, gang. I'll talk to you later.
Later, boy.
I love you. Bye.
And everybody out there on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, check out pillar.io/MURKradio. It's where all of our endorsements are, all of the deals, all of the coupons. If you need a snack for your dog, if you need a battery for your laptop, if you need a video game rental, if you need a VPN, we got you. You want a pound of coffee? We got a discount for you. Pillar.io/MURKradio. Link in description. All right. Later, gang.